A vanilla card is a card, usually of some kind of character, that has no effects compared to other cards of the same type that do have effects. Typically, these cards are deemed weaker and less desirable by not having an effect that makes them immediately have an impact on the game state. In games, they will often have high attack stats and low summoning costs to justify being a vanilla, but in games like Yu-Gi-Oh! That are so fast you'll get whiplash, the raw numbers of a vanilla don't matter. You just want monster effects that help you get to your win con or stop your opponent from getting to theirs. In the early stages of a game, vanillas can be more impactful because there are not yet so many insanely powerful effect monsters and removal. Early Yu-Gi-Oh! Was simply big number beat sticks with trap and spell cards. Vanillas have an important impact on the current Digimon TCG meta, and that may be in part due to the game only having 3 sets as of the writing of this video, but if we take a deeper dive, we can see there is more to the design of this game that lets vanillas flourish. Each card you play is like a timer ticking down on the meter until it crosses over to your opponent's side and becomes their turn. This hasn't been seen before in the game, as far as I'm aware, other than Chrono Clash, and that was also from Bandai and might as well have been a beta for this game. Keeping a higher tempo and board control than your opponent is always important, but the memory gauge really amplifies it. If you make 2 big plays, you give your opponent a lot of memory to destroy your board with or outpace your board presence. Because of this, you want to leave them with as little memory as possible, ideally 1. The higher up you climb, however, the costlier cards get to play, so it becomes harder to do this. And while some strategies like Rookie Rush center on not evolving, in a regular deck you can't just not keep climbing. Your opponent will outpace you and you will miss some very powerful effects. So, how do you keep ramping up in power while staying cost effective? Well, with the cheaper vanillas. But why play a blank beat stick with just 1 security check when I could play War Greymon who gets like 3 security checks and protection? There's multiple reasons, but let's start with the obvious, the cheaper cost and how that ties into DP. A typical Mega, also known as a level 6 card, costs 3 memory and up to evolve into usually. This is because they have the higher end of DP in the game and powerful effects to justify the cost. These will be the win con of many decks, but because of the high cost, evolving into them without giving up tempo is kind of hard. With the 3 and up cost, a level 6 will often pass your turn. This leaves it vulnerable for your opponent to respond to next turn. For some cards, this isn't a deal breaker because their on Digivolve effect is so powerful, it's worth passing and turns the game in your favor, like Shine Greymon's board wiping effect. But for other cards that are also powerful in a different way, like War Greymon and its extra security checks, that turn passing is a danger because it can't actually start putting pressure on your opponent until it's your turn again and you can swing with the extra security checks. Your opponent knows what's coming and will try to remove it with the window you gave them to. This is a concern taken in mind for in one of the most powerful decks in the game right now, Omnimon Turbo. Omnimon is a level 7, so if you're playing a red or blue deck and you pass by evolving into your level 6, your opponent will try to remove it immediately. So to still climb to level 6 without passing, red and blue decks run their vanillas, Phoenixmon and Plesiomon. The vanillas are currently the cheapest level 6s in every color. 1 point of memory makes a huge difference in the Digimon TCG. The lower 2 costs will often let the gauge stay on your turn when a stronger level 6 would have passed turn. In the case of Omnimon, not only does this let you safely bring him out the same turn you played Phoenixmon, you also pass turn with a devastating destruction effect and 15k body on board. That's a challenge for any deck to face. This cheaper cost philosophy also applies to every Digimon in the deck. Dark Tyrannomon and Gorillamon cost 1 instead of the typical 2 cost for a champion, also known as a level 4 card, to quickly get to Omnimon. Hence the deck name Omnimon Turbo. The vanillas also have higher DP than most level 6s with effects. 12k DP is beefy in this game and makes swinging into security, if you must, much safer than the 10 to 11k of other level 6s. Because of the evolution stack mechanic too, vanillas can gain strong effects to complement their high DP. This, coupled with the cost effectiveness, gives them a unique niche. Because of the high DP too, if you brick early game, hardcasting them isn't the end of the world. You can security check pretty safely with the high DP and don't have to worry about it being attacked back right away. Your opponent will often be getting 10 whole memory to work with too, so it doesn't become lopsided in your favor either. With cheaper costs and higher than average damage DP that lets vanillas more safely take advantage of inheritable effects, the Digimon card game creates an environment for vanillas to flourish. Whether as a means to an end, or as a cheaper top end for your stack, vanilla Digimon have found a niche that should extend beyond the early life of the game. Thanks for watching my analysis on the niche of vanilla cards in the Digimon card game. I'll see you next time, and until then, remember, stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.